Hello, it's time to fall into some bolder predictions for the September Basho. Sutro!
Roll the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Hello and welcome back to the Dohyo here on Mr. JWags channel. We are back in the corner with the radiator ready for some bolder predictions for the upcoming September Basho. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons over on the Patreon. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. We're having a lot of fun over there. And if you missed the last patrons only Hagakioi, we got into a lot of stuff. You all asked some amazing questions. And hey, let's do it again after this Basho. Every bit of support helps the channel, and the more you support, the more episodes of the Dohyo there will be. Alright, the September Basho is coming up, and I got some thoughts. As predicted, the Sanyaku shrank by one member, giving us a return to the Maegashira 18 East ranking. And this ties us into our first bold prediction. None of the double-digit ranked Maegashira will get double-digit wins. I know, we're going very big and we're going very bold this time. Yeah. So looking down through the Banzage, it feels like we have this sort of chunk of wrestlers that are sort of past their peak and are working their way down the Banzage, sort of at the top of Judo and at the bottom of Makuuchi. A lot of Makuuchi veterans in this area. And a lot of these guys are former champions, former Sanyaku members. We have 3 former Sanyaku members in Judo right now. But right now, when we're talking about Maegashira 10 down, there's just not a lot of people I'm seeing there who I think might be in contention down the stretch. If we could count on a fully healthy Daisho, we'll talk about him in a bit, maybe I think he could have a breakout here. If Matakeumi manages to keep it up. But right now, I'm thinking 9 and 6 is going to be the ceiling for the bottom of the Maegashira ranks. And an even bolder prediction, there will be no Kachikoshi in Maegashira 1 through 4. We will explore this a little bit more in the 3 up, 3 down, but right now, of the wrestlers going up there, we have a lot of wrestlers who I think have already been up into the joy, with the exception of Hakuoho, and they have been found wanting up to this point. I think I could be wrong about this one slightly. I think we might get 1 or 2 8 and 7s. Hakuoho is the one I feel is a little borderline on this one, but I don't think there's going to be anyone Maegashira 1 through 4 who's going to have any sort of major breakout and is going to cause a lot of fear at the top of the ranks. I mean, Abi's due for another 6 and 9 at this point, I think. And this leads us directly into our next bold prediction. The entire Sanyaku will get Kachikoshi except one wrestler. I think the Sanyaku is looking very strong right now, especially since we found out after the last tournament, we had guys like Wakataka Kage and Kirishima who were going through like food poisoning and extensive illness. If everyone is healthy going into this tournament, I feel like the Sanyaku is going to have a great tournament. But of course, there could be some unexpected Kyujo. So anyone who is not Kyujo, I expect to get a winning record from the Sanyaku, except my bolder prediction is that Takayasu is going to return to his losing ways on this one. I'm not expecting like a full crash out, but I'm expecting somewhere along a 7 and 8, a 6 and 9 from Takayasu. I would love to be wrong about this one. I do love the hair bear. But I just think this is going to be a really hard tournament, and consistency hasn't necessarily been his watchword recently. So no, I'm not expecting another 10 and 5, and I would not be surprised if we get a Kyujo out of Takayasu this time. It has been a little while since he's gone Kyujo, and frankly, it's been even longer since he's put together like a year with no Kyujo. I mean, he had 2 Kyujo tournaments in 2022, 2 in 2023, and 3 in 2024, and none this year. So yeah, unfortunately, I think Takayasu might be due. This brings us to our recurring segment, 3 up, 3 down, where we look at several wrestlers who I think might be underranked and will have a great tournament, and several wrestlers who I think are overranked and will not necessarily have the best tournament. First down, Maegashira 1 East, Tamawashi. Yeah, this one does hurt a lot. I would love nothing more than Tamawashi popping out another double-digit wins and making back up in the Sanyaku. Heck, I would love a 3rd Tamawashi Yusho, but as we all know, age is undefeated when it comes to taking down our favorite wrestlers. He is well into age 40 at this point, and he suffered a back injury during Jungyo. Now, he has come back. He has been practicing full strength, according to reports. But Tamawashi just has not been what we'd call a like Joy level wrestler for the past few years. In fact, the last time he got Akachi Koshi up in the Joy was like March of 2023, and then it was immediately followed by a 3-12. So yes, I would absolutely love to be wrong about this, but the brain just feels like we are not due for a Kachikoshi this time out of Tamawashi. Although if he does get the Kachikoshi, I believe this would be the tournament where he would be the oldest wrestler ever to get a Kachikoshi in Makuuchi, beating Kyokutenho's record. And for our 2 and 3 down are Maegashira's 3, Atami Fuji, and Gonoyama. Now, I feel bad because, like, I really, really like all 3 of these wrestlers, and I want them to do well. I'm just not seeing it. Now, when Atami Fuji first stormed up the ranks, his second time in Makuuchi, he got those 2 consecutive Jun Yusho. He made it all the way up to, like, Maegashira 1, Maegashira 2, and then just, like, hung out, never really getting better than an 8 and 7. I guess, like, I could see an 8 and 7 here, but just, I don't see any of the history of Atami Fuji telling me he's going to excel up here. And we've now found out he has gained a reasonable amount of weight since the last tournament, about 10 kilos it looks like. And now that combined with the fact we know he has like a bad hip, which is chronic, I'm not necessarily sure Atami Fuji is the wrestler that really needs 10 more kilos at this point. I know, he looked great last tournament. He had an 11-4 Jun Yusho, but that was like down at Maegashira 10. Maegashira 3 is going to be much different this tournament. And as for Gonoyama, he's never really established himself up in the Joy. He's been around for a little while now, and he's been hanging out in sort of like the mid-Maegashira ranks, but every time he's been up to the Joy, he has been sort of smacked down. Gonoyama's highest-ranked Kachikoshi was Maegashira 4 East. This was back in November of 2023. It was only an 8 and 7, and one of those wins was a Fusen win. So he's still only like 27 and a half, so I don't think that like it's impossible he could get a leap in his sumo, but I haven't seen it yet, so I am expecting less than optimal results for Gonoyama this time. And now for the 3 up. We're going to start with our Maegashira's 6, Onokatsu and Kusano. Now, if we remember from last tournament, Onokatsu had his worst tournament in Makuuchi to date, but of course, it was his first time in the Joy, and he did okay. He got like a 6 and 9, which has now bumped him down to Maegashira 6 East. Now, I think that is going to be exceptionally lucky for him, because I think with the way the Banzuke has sort of shifted out, Maegashira 6 is going to be safely below the Joy region, and it's going to be above all those like former champion types down at lower Maegashira who might be able to like steal a win or two. I think that this is going to be a good rebound tournament for Onokatsu. He's only 25, he's only been in Makuuchi for about a year. I still think there's a Sanyaku run in Onokatsu's future. And as for Maegashira 6 West, Kusano, there's not a lot more I can say about this guy. This guy has been charging his way up the ranks with the quickness. In fact, with his last tournament, his first 3 paid tournaments, the tournaments from Judio up, he has now broken the record for most wins upon gaining Sekitori status. His past 3 tournaments have been 2 consecutive Judio Yushos, and his Makuuchi debut last tournament was an 11-4 Jun Yusho plus 2 special prizes, adding up to 38 total wins, beating the previous record holder, Ichi Nojo, by 1. So him being that one rank sort of where I think the Joy is going to end, I think that's going to be very, very useful for him. I think he's going to do very, very well, and he will probably get promoted a little bit down the stretch once he has an excellent first week. But yeah, I'm expecting big things out of Kusano still in this tournament. I don't think we're near his ceiling yet. And our final up, Maegashira 15, Tobizaru. Yeah, Tobizaru got hurt in the last tournament. Everything I've heard is that he is going to be coming back and competing in September, and Maegashira 15 is really, really low for Tobizaru. In fact, I believe it is the lowest he has ever been ranked in Makuuchi. Since once he jumped up from Judio, he jumped up all the way to Maegashira 14. So yeah, at his lowest ever rank in the Makuuchi division, I think if he is at all healthy, I would expect a winning record out of Tobizaru. Still not double digits, but I'm expecting at least 8 or 9 wins for Tobizaru. Although I am hoping for more. Now it's time for Oh Which Way We Going, a recurring segment where we look at wrestlers who seem to be at a crossroads in their career, and we discuss which way they're going. First up is Maegashira 10 East, Daisho. Yeah. Now, Daisho, originally when I did these predictions, I had him as maybe like a dark horse Yusho pick, but it looks like the calf injury has not healed quite as quickly as we had hoped. He has just started doing full contact practice drills right now, and I'm filming this less than a week before the start of the tournament. So, yeah, that does not bode well for like an excellent breakout tournament. That being said, Daisho has not been ranked this low since 2018, so if he is at all healthy, I would expect a winning record out of him, but I don't expect him to be like a dark horse contender. What I'm hoping happens is that he sort of holds serve here and gets like between 7 and 9 wins down at the bottom of Maegashira, and then in the next tournament, November, he comes back super, super strong, and that's where I might be expecting, like, if everything goes well, everything goes healthy, that's where I would be expecting the dark horse Yusho run. Next up, Maegashira 4, Wakamoto Hadu. Yeah, he has not done too well this year. I mean, even as recently as last year, I think we could, like, firmly say, like, Wakamoto Hadu is like a Sanyaku Joy regular. But now, this year, he is in his last Basho of the age 31, and you know, that you don't get younger going forward. So, yeah, I would hope to see some sort of bounce back from him, but right now it looks like his true talent level isn't lying in the Joy. It looks like it's lying just below, possibly like even at the top of double-digit Maegashira. I'm not expecting a lot out of him this tournament. I would again love to be wrong, and I think there's still enough skill and talent there. The question is the body going to allow him to execute that, especially with a very strong and youthening Joy and Sanyaku at the moment. Last up in the Which Way We Going, Maegashira 5 East and returning champion, Kotoshoho. Now, I don't think anyone has like a real hard and fast prediction on how well Kotoshoho is going to do in the next tournament. There are just way too many variables. Is the right thigh, the right ankle, are they going to be okay going into this? Is this a true leap in talent, or was this just like a golden 2 weeks of sumo that he managed to put together to take this championship? I honestly can't tell you, and I think he's going to be facing the toughest possible schedule. Normally, the Joy doesn't go down all the way to Maegashira 5 East, but in this case, because we have a number of like stable conflicts here from like Arashio, Isegahama, and Sado Gatake, I just think that he's going to get bumped up to face a lot of the best wrestlers. And because he's the returning champion, I don't think they're going to be soft pedaling the schedule. So, would a fully healthy and motivated Kotoshoho get a second consecutive Yusho? I don't think so, but I mean, he's already surprised us this much so far. I would say his best case scenario would be like a 10-5, and even that I think might be pushing it in this Bansuke. But again, I'd love to be proved wrong. The next bold prediction, Komusubi, Aonishiki, and Sekiwake Kirishima will both continue their Ozeki runs with 10+ wins in this tournament. Yes, I am all aboard the Aonishiki train at this point. I know he hurt his shoulder a bit in the last tournament, but reports seem to be good from Jungyo and training that he will be back and in effect. Now, he just started an Ozeki run in the last tournament because he finally made it up to the Joy. He's now made it up to the Sanyaku, and just so you know, he is, I believe, the first Ukrainian to ever make the Sanyaku, and he's the first person from his current stable to make it into the Sanyaku. So, like, not that on top of being the fastest person to start from Maizumo to make it up to the Sanyaku. So it's like amazing work, Aonishiki. Like, attaboy? Pre-attaboy? I mean, the guy got an 11-4 Junyusho show last tournament, and he finished it hurt. So if he is going full strength, he does not look intimidated by the best wrestlers in the business. So I think we may be getting at the point where he's starting to get a book on them. I wouldn't even be surprised if he does better than his apparently standard 11-4 in the next tournament. But like, we'll say, yeah, I'm expecting another 11-4. Prove me right. And as for Kirishima, he seemed to have been doing the like one-on, one-off excellent tournament 8-7 for like the past year or so. So fortunately, this every other pattern would be helping him in this tournament. And then of course the reports that came out last tournament that he was very, very sick, running a fever, still went out and competed. I mean, thank you for gutting it out. He ended up getting the 8-7, thus keeping the Ozeki run technically alive, keeping him at Sekiwake. But to get him up to 33/3 would require like a 14-1. I don't think he's ever done that, so I'm not expecting that kind of breakout. But like Aonishiki, I am expecting an 11-4 or somewhere thereabouts for a hopefully healthy Kirishima this time. And yes, I would love a double Ozeki promotion after November. And speaking of Ozeki promotion, my bolder prediction, Sekiwake Wakatakakage will be promoted to Ozeki after this tournament. Now, of course, we know the standard tends to be like 33/3. Now, we checked it out. It's not actually the case. And we have noticed that sometimes people have been promoted with 32 wins in the past. And the wrestlers who have been promoted with 32 wins seem to be wrestlers who have like started their Ozeki run already up in the Sanyaku and have worked their way through with some previous Sanyaku experience. And that seems to fit Wakatakakage to a T. He's clearly over his injury, he's clearly working at a very high Sanyaku level, and we really only have one Ozeki at this point, so I think they'd really like to be able to balance that Banzuke out. So I think a strong 10-5 again would get him some serious consideration, but I think 11 would definitely get him that promotion after the tournament, and I'm feeling very optimistic. I think Wakataka Kage will be contending for the Yusho down the stretch. And speaking of Yusho, let's talk about Judyo. My bold prediction is that the Judyo Yusho will be won by a former Makauchi wrestler. Now, this may not seem like a bold prediction because over half of the Judyo division is former Makauchi wrestlers at this point. But if you look at our last two Judyo champions, Kusano twice and Mita, neither of them had any Makauchi experience, and it seems like we are at a definite moment of young hotness working its way up the Bansuke. I'm expecting good things out of Mita up at Judyo 4 this time. In fact, I'm kind of hoping for at least a 10-5 so he can get promoted on up, but I am expecting him to not get the Yusho this time. I'm expecting experience to win out, and my bolder prediction, new Judyo returnee and former champion and Ozeki Asanoyama will get the Judyo Yusho this time. But I don't think this is necessarily going to be a dominating Yusho. I'm expecting this time, as last time, that the Judyo Yusho will be less than 13 wins this time. So I'm expecting a solid 12-3 Judyo Yusho from Asanoyama. Now we're getting really close to that Yusho pick, but the bold prediction is Yokozuna Hoshoryu will get a Kachikoshi, but will not be in contention on the final weekend, and will give up multiple kinboshi. Now, as you know, we just talked about kinboshi a whole bunch, and our current Yokozuna have not been too great about not allowing the kinboshi, and I think that is going to continue for Hoshoryu. I mean, if you look at his recent records, Abi has owned Hoshoryu over the past year or so. And as I've said before, Hoshoryu has never gone through a single Makauchi tournament without losing to at least one Maegashira, and that only happened once. So yes, I'm expecting multiple kinboshi out of Hoshoryu this time. I'm hoping for a return to best possible Hoshoryu, which seems to be a 12-13 win, but he is coming off of another Kyujo. So I'm expecting a 10-5 to sort of be the ceiling for Hoshoryu this tournament. And again, I'm not expecting him to be in contention on the final 3 days. Now it's time for the Yusho pick. The bolder prediction is that Yokozuna Onosato will win his 5th Yusho with a 13-2. But I also predict he will lose to Hoshoryu if Hoshoryu makes it to day 15 fully healthy. Alright, my gut is telling me the big boy is due again. If you look at the recent record, he won 2 Yusho in a row, and in the last tournament where, oh my goodness, he had this terrible tournament where he got an 11-4 Jun Yusho. I am not expecting 4 kinboshi. It's given up by Onosato this tournament. I think maybe 1, but I'm expecting him to sort of regain a bit of the dominance. He had a lot working against him in the last tournament. He had just turned Yokozuna, so the pressure was super high, and he was tired from getting feasted as much as I'm sure new Yokozuna get feasted. And also, he's never really done all that well in Nagoya. Now he's back in Tokyo where he has a proven record of success, so I'm expecting an excellent, borderline dominating tournament from Onosato, 13-2. And yes, I am hoping he's really gotten over that habit of pulling. We're really, really hoping he's past that. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Dohyo. Please, if you have not already, like and subscribe. That just helps the algorithm direct everyone to the Dohyo, and that's what we want, right? Because if you're here and hate watching, you lasted a long time into this episode. And again, a gigantic thank you to the patrons. Your support means so much. And if you have the inclination and the funds, please consider joining us. The more support we get, the more episodes of the Dohyo there will be. Stay tuned to the channel. We, of course, are going to have our mid-Basho quick strikes coming up. We are going to have our end of Basho coverage that you're not going to want to miss. I know we're all very excited about this upcoming Basho. I have a very special episode with the New York Sumo Club coming up very soon that, again, you're not going to want to miss. So everyone, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, and I will see you next time on the Dohyo.